In this whiteboard discussion, I want to review what I believe to be the most important economic question for the rest of 2022. I also want, in full disclosure, to admit I don't have the answer. I have been thinking about this a lot the last 3 or so weeks. I want to lay out what the question is. I want to lay out the extremes because there are clearly people betting on one way or the other. And if you're right, you'll likely do amazing things. And if you're wrong, you are going to get hurt. And again, I want to be very, very clear. I don't have an answer. I don't have a strong opinion. This is very complex stuff. So let's get into it. Undoubtedly, certainly if you follow my channel, you know that last week we got a crazy headline inflation read, right? That was CPI. 9.1%. So my question that I have to internalize, because it will make a difference on how I invest, it will make a difference on what wins and what doesn't, is how much of this 9.1% headline CPI is sticky, won't work itself out as the supply chain loosens up, as commodities roll over. The reason this is important, and frankly, the only reason this is important, is because, hey, if only a little bit of it rolls off, the Fed has to get more aggressive. Hey, if a lot of it rolls off, the Fed can pause early. This is very important. And again, I don't have the answer. I don't know. This is the only time in my adult life where inflation is this high and this sticky. For 40 years, we could basically count on inflation being around 2% with a couple of noticeable ups and downs, but it always came back in. So this is what I'm thinking today. I would love your opinion, your thoughts. Sometimes the collective whole is better than, thinking inside an echo chamber. So there's a few things about this 9-1 that I feel good about, right? So let's start there. So I think there is some part, probably 2 to 2.5%, that is just normal inflation, right? We like to stay below 2, but you could see this or that demand. So I feel like, let's call it 2.5% of this 9-1 is normal, right? If we got to that number, it would be a victory. So right off the bat, we are no longer talking about 9-1. We are now talking about 6-6. Is that right? 6-6-8. Yeah. Now we're talking about 6-6. So let's just keep this math going. So now we've got 6-6. Assuming this number, assuming 2.5. Just like the bottom number feels okay, I think it is also equally fair to say that some portion of this, probably 1.5 to maybe, 2%, is undoubtedly strictly supply chain, cargo ships, all of those things that will eventually roll off, right? So again, like below, if we take the high number, we are now dealing with 4-6. That 4-6, really important. That 4-6 is the difference between a soft landing and a nasty hard landing. Let me explain. Let's just assume that the majority of that 4-6 skews higher, meaning it's kind of transitory, works itself out, we all get along, and inflation comes in. not only comes in the 2%, but let's say it comes in most of the 4.6. So the Fed has less work to do. If we look at inflation, the headline number, and say CPI is 3.5%, 4%, that's the sticky part. The Fed simply does not have to take us much higher. Now, if you flip that script and you say that 4.6 is mainly entrenched and sticky, this is where Jamie Dimon said that inflation is deeply entrenched. So if you're like Jamie Dimon and you believe that 4.6 is kind of structural or entrenched, well, then you're staring at 6.6 that you need to back off, and the Fed must go higher. This is why this 4.6, this right here, that's the $1 million question. How much of that 4.6 is structural, entrenched? And I fear that it is far more entrenched than people expect. A lot of people are saying deflation, bullwhip, strong dollar, right? I don't know. Maybe. I hope so. But I don't know. This is really why I think there's something sneaky and frankly dangerous lurking inside CPI that we are not seeing and we are not talking about. And what is that? I believe wage inflation. Wage inflation is lurking, becoming anchored, and growing. It is very hard to look at wage inflation today and feel good. On this channel, we talk about nominal and real. We have seen nominal wage increases of over 5%. We have seen real wages decrease all year. I do not believe that continues. I believe as this top comes off, I believe wage inflation goes up, right? We have less participation. We have wages growing. I believe that is sticky. You want to get people off the sidelines, pay more money. I believe wage inflation is going to get sticky, and wage inflation will be the problem of 2023. The Fed's not talking about it. They're not looking at it. They're looking at shipping and commodities and this and that. The thing that is lurking below the surface that will bite us in the ass is wage inflation. Wage inflation will take everything up. Wage inflation is the feedback loop that caused the 1970s. Again, it feels good, but realize there is a cost. As you pay your employees more, you have to sell your product for more. This is what I am currently thinking is kind of the surprise component. I believe this 4.6 is far more sticky, but there are lots of very smart people, most of them on Wall Street, who are saying deflation, bullwhip, strong dollar, all these things are going to reverse and we're going to crash. Hey, let's be clear. I hope so. I hope so, because again, if we have all of these, the Fed's job could be almost over. I still think the Fed gets us to 3%, 3.25%, but again, we're almost there. If I am right, and the Fed sees inflation more like 6.6, which is the 2.5, actually would be 7.1, right? 2.5 plus that be 7.1. Well, then the Fed's not going to stop at 3.25. You would see the Fed funds rate get to 4, 5, 5.5, 6. It doesn't feel good to say. So I want to hear from you. Again, as I said at the opening, and I think I've said 3 times, and this will be a fourth, I don't have the answer. I look at this stuff all the time, and I can't answer for you what part of 9-1 is sticky and one part is, for lack of a better word, transitory or will back off. It is the most important economic question for the year. How much of 9-1 is sticky or inelastic or not? If you believe a lot of it is inelastic or sticky, what you are saying, because if you believe that, which if you put a gun to my head is where I am, that's the camp I'm in, is not enough of this is transitory. But again, I don't have a strong opinion. If you believe a lot of it is sticky, then what you are saying is the Fed has more work to do. That's what we're saying. That line is connected, in my opinion. If you are in, for lack of a better word, Kathy Wood's camp, and you want deflation to take over, and then CPI is going to unnaturally fall to 3 or 4%, then the Fed is almost done. If Kathy Wood is right, and hey, I hope she is, we could be in for the soft landing. If you believe that, yes, some of that will come off, maybe 2%, but that is where it is stuck, it is entrenched, then you're kind of with me and you think the Fed has to do more. So I would love to hear from you. Again, we are all looking at a very broken crystal ball. This is the only time that I've studied the economy in the past 30 years where I even have to think about this question. So let me know what you think. Thoughts below. How much is sticky? How much is not? The Fed almost done. The Fed going to keep going. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. This whiteboard helped me crystallize my thoughts. And really, it comes down to wage inflation. I don't think enough people are realizing how sticky and how powerful wage inflation is. I think wage inflation continues. I think wage inflation grows. And I think that's going to cause the ripple effects of inflation to be bigger than maybe we want. So let me know what you think. Leave comments below. Have a wonderful day. We will do the daily financial news in a few minutes. Thanks for watching. Bye.